Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Turner Mobile Detailing. Today I'm going to be taking you through every step in the full detail of this Mercedes Maybach you see behind me. So let's get started. For over a century, the name Maybach has been synonymous with not only luxury, but with opulence and exclusivity. German designed and engineered, the Maybach name has a rich and classic history. This particular Maybach is not a daily driver. It's garage kept, it never sees bad weather, and does not transport small children. So as you can imagine, it's not very dirty at all, but the owner ordered a full detail nonetheless. In this video, I'll be walking you through each step of this full detail, from interior to exterior. I'll show you the products, tools, and techniques I use along the way, and as a bonus, I'll also be sharing some of the history behind the Maybach nameplate. As in any detail, the first place I always start are the door jambs. These door jambs in particular really aren't all that dirty. Normally I would scrub them down with a degreaser, then rinse them down with my power washer. But in this case, we're just going to wipe them down using a microfiber towel and some super clean diluted 4:1. The German nameplate known as Maybach was founded by Wilhelm Maybach back in 1909 under the company name Aircraft Engine Building Company, in German of course. In 1912, Wilhelm and his son Carl renamed the company Maybach Engine Construction Company, and the Maybach nameplate was born. The company originally developed and manufactured diesel and petrol engines for Zeppelins, and then rail cars that were used in World War I. In 1919, Maybach produced their first experimental car, and then between 1921 and 1940, the company produced a variety of opulent luxury vehicles. Next comes the floor liners. I'm still using super clean diluted 4:1, and I spray the floor liner down first, and then I'm using my stiff bristle tire brush to scrub them down. Now we move on to the carpet floor mats. After I vacuum the mats to get up any loose dirt and debris, I'm also using super clean at the same 4:1 dilution to pre-treat the carpet fibers. Then I scrub them down with my medium stiffness drill brush attachment. No matter the dirtiness of the carpet floor mat, I always give them a good thorough cleaning. After they're scrubbed, they get extracted. This pulls out all the junk we just scrubbed loose. I'm using Nanoskin's Tidal Wave Extractor Shampoo in my extractor. Finally, no carpet mat would be complete without carpet lines, which give that extra little touch of clean and detailed. Once the carpet mats have been thoroughly cleaned and lined, I set them aside to dry. The floor mats are among the first things to be cleaned. That way, by the time we're done with the interior, they should be dry and ready to be put back in the vehicle. Once the door jambs and all the floor liners and/or the floor mats are done, it's time to start on the actual interior of the vehicle. First, I scrub down all the hard and touch surfaces with Spray 9, diluted about 2:1. I'm using my go-to Detail Factory Boar's Hair detail brush. Spray 9 is an excellent disinfectant/degreaser that breaks up all the dirt and oils that our hands can leave behind, and best of all, it kills harmful germs and bacteria. And as shown by the EPA, it's even effective against the coronavirus. I typically work from the outside in, cleaning the inside of the door first, then moving into the vehicle to clean the steering wheel, the dash, and all the center console components. When cleaning a steering wheel, in particular a leather-wrapped steering wheel, a magic eraser works wonders. Obviously, the steering wheel gets touched 100% of the time while you're in your car, much more than any other surface. So naturally, it's going to accumulate the most dirt and oil from your hands. Even on a relatively clean-looking steering wheel like this one was, look how much gunk the magic eraser pulls off. During World War II, Maybach produced the engines for most of Nazi Germany's tanks and half-tracks. After World War II, the factory performed some repair work, but automotive production never resumed. On more delicate areas and surfaces, I just mist a light layer of cleaner. Spray 9 cleans and disinfects really well, but be careful because it can leave a residue behind if you don't thoroughly wipe it down, which will be especially evident on any glossy surfaces like chrome trimming and piano black trimming. In 1960, the Maybach company was acquired by Daimler-Benz. Benz used the Maybach company primarily to produce special editions of Mercedes cars in the W108 and W116 model range, which were virtually hand-built, but also carried the Mercedes badge. Once an area has been thoroughly scrubbed with Spray 9, it's time to steam the area. I'm using my McCulloch 1385 steamer. Steam provides an extra level of sanitization and cleanliness, and it also helps break up the surfactants in the prior used cleaner, in this case Spray 9, that's on the surface, so there is less of a chance of residue to be left behind. Now once the area has been scrubbed and steamed, and even magic erased, it's time to wipe everything down with a microfiber towel. I tend to use the high pile side since it's more absorbent, and it makes quick work of the moisture left behind on the surface. Now when you're wiping everything down, be sure to get in all the nooks and crannies like under the window buttons and behind the door handle. Because again, you don't want any residue from any cleaners left behind. As a precaution, before I get started, I put down all the windows as far as they'll go. And I never ever spray Spray 9 onto the dash directly, always on a towel first. The reason is because Spray 9, among others, does not play well with glass and can leave a residue behind that can be very difficult to get off later on. So I hide the glass as best I can to mitigate the possibility of overspray as much as possible. In 1997, a concept-based production Mercedes Maybach was produced in two sizes, the Maybach 57 and the Maybach 62. Fast forward to 2010, worldwide sales of the uber luxury car dipped all the way down to 157. And since Mercedes revived the Maybach name in 2002, only 3,000 cars have been sold worldwide. Our next step is to move on to the glass. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I love Nanoskin's crystal clear glass cleaner, diluted 10:1. The first thing that needs to be done is the top edge of the glass that hides up inside the top edge of the door. This area collects dirt, but seldom gets cleaned because it's covered by the door. Very unprofessional. So I always clean the edge of the glass first. After the edge of the window has been cleaned inside and out, I just roll up the window and finish cleaning the inside. I don't bother cleaning the outside at this point because it'll get cleaned later on when I clean the outside of the vehicle. One of the best parts on detailing an uber luxury car is the cool little features that they have, like how you can dim the moonroof to block out UV light better. Very cool. Now that the glass is done, I like to get my vacuuming done. Again, the car is not all that dirty, but normally at this point, I'll vacuum all small debris that's on the floors and on the upholstery. In this case, it didn't really take me all that long. The vacuum that I use is Rigid's 5 horsepower, 4-gallon portable wet-dry vacuum, along with their premium car cleaning accessory kit. On carpeting that's already in good condition like this is, I simply follow up the vacuuming with a light treatment of Super Clean, again diluted about 4:1, and a scrubbing with my medium stiffness carpet brush. And then I simply wipe it down with a microfiber. So now my last cleaning stage is the upholstery. I like to use Nanoskin's upholstery cleaner, diluted about 6:1. Each vehicle being different and unique, I have different techniques in cleaning upholstery. On leather upholstery that's heavily used and has obvious dirt and oil deposits from wear, I usually use Meguiar's Citrus Power Cleaner or Nanoskin's upholstery with a heavier dilution, then scrub the surface with my Color Lock leather brush, and then I'll steam scrub the surface before wiping it down dry. In this case, on upholstery that's not really all that dirty, I'll coat the leather with Nanoskin's upholstery cleaner at a lighter dilution, let it dwell for a few seconds, and then I'll steam scrub the area. After that, I'll wipe it down dry, and it comes out beautifully. As a tip, when steam scrubbing upholstery, when you wrap the microfiber around the brush head, instead of holding the towel on the brush head with your hand and risk burning yourself, use a small cable cuff that you can get at any Home Depot to hold the towel in place. That way you get your hand away from the steam and you have a free hand to better maneuver around the inside of the vehicle. So now that every surface inside the vehicle is clean, it's time to protect those surfaces. First, I dress all the hard and touch surfaces with Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Now, using this stuff on the interior is an off-label use, but I found it to be an excellent interior dressing / protectant. It dries to a very subtle matte to satin finish, and yes, it dries, so it doesn't leave any oily surface that will get all over your hands or your clothes when you interact with those surfaces. Best of all, it's a polymer sealant made for the exterior of a vehicle, so it's made to stand up to much harsher conditions than the inside of your vehicle. So it's highly durable and it will last way longer than conventional interior dressings. And it provides a high level of UV protection, which is very important for helping the plastic surfaces inside your vehicle stay new looking longer. It also makes maintenance cleanings down the road much easier. Now the leather gets some protection too. Now there are a ton of options out there, from your basic leather conditioner all the way up to a full ceramic coating for your leather upholstery. Even fast finish can be used on leather, and here's why. A little known fact, since the late 90s, most if not all automobile leather textiles are manufactured with a very thin vinyl coating to protect the natural leather substrate. The thickness of this coating will vary depending on the quality of the vehicle, but it's there nonetheless. So when applying a leather protectant or conditioner, you're really just applying it to that vinyl layer on top of the leather. The trick here is to use a conditioner that can penetrate the vinyl layer. I use Malco's leather conditioner, which is high quality professional leather conditioner that can penetrate into the leather through the vinyl, and bonus, it smells just like fresh leather. Gotta love that smell. I apply a thin layer on the leather upholstery, working my way around the interior, then give it about 10 minutes to penetrate. Then I go back to where I started and buff off any remaining conditioner that's left over on the surface, leaving behind a nice, natural matte finish. Finally, no interior detail would be complete without a little air freshener. I'm using a fresh leather scent. Now as we move on to the exterior of the vehicle, 99.9% of the time I start with the wheels and the tires first. And today I'm using P&S's Brake Buster. I always clean the tire first, then the inner barrel of the wheel, and then finally the wheel face. Intricate wheel patterns like that around this Maybach can take some time, but it's worth it. I typically start from the 12 o'clock position and work my way around the wheel. That way it's easier to remember where I started. The bristles on my Nanoskin wheel brush are nice and long, so they reach nicely inside the rather deep wheel spokes. I always clean a tire at least 2 times. I find this is a good balance of tire cleanliness and time spent. It gets the tire clean enough so that the dressing will last longer, and it also allows me to get all 4 wheels and tires done in a reasonable amount of time. Once all 4 wheels are cleaned and rinsed, then I do an initial rinse down of the rest of the vehicle. This gets any kind of loose dirt and debris off the paintwork to reduce the chance of scratching or marring when we get into our contact wash. In 2012, the standalone Maybach name ceased to exist, and the standalone Maybach models would also cease to be produced. However, in 2015, Daimler revived the Maybach brand as a sub-ultra luxury version of the Mercedes S-Class platform. although with a wheelbase some 20 centimeters longer than its S-Class counterpart. Now for the contact wash, I'll be using Carpro's Lift. I dilute it per the instructions, 10:1, so I'm using 30 ounces of water to 3 ounces of product. Now Lift has a pH of about 10 after it's been diluted, and it foams really well. So that means it's going to do a great job at breaking down the dirt and the grime on the paintwork, and the foam will ensure that it stays on the panel long enough to do so. Now to get in all the details and the nooks and the crannies of the vehicle, I'm using my Detail Factory's super soft synthetic bristle detail brush. My own method is that I like to foam up one section at a time, wash it down with a folded microfiber, then rinse. I repeat this method all the way around the vehicle. This saves me the time of setting up a wash bucket, it ensures me that there's a ton of lubrication on the surface, and it saves me product by not having to use shampoo in both a foam cannon and a wash bucket. The Mercedes Maybach is currently produced in the S500 and the S600 model range, like we're working on today. This S600 comes with features like all-wheel drive, a V8 engine, reclining and massaging rear seats, and a 24-speaker sound system. Once the whole vehicle has been washed and rinsed, it's time for some iron remover. Today I'm using Iron Free from Nanoskin. It's on the more gentle side as far as iron removers go, but that's what I want for today because again, this vehicle is not a daily driver. so it's not heavily contaminated with iron deposits, and it has a more delicate finish. Here you can see some of the bleeding iron deposits as they're being broken down and turning purple. Next is the claying process. I'm using my bare slate clay mitt from the last coat. As a fine grade clay, it does a great job on painted surfaces that aren't heavily contaminated. The reason I clay after the iron remover is because I want to chemically remove as much of the bonded surface contaminants as possible without having to even touch the paint. Then when I go in with the clay has much less work to do, and it leaves the surface even more pristine. If you notice, I'm not using a dedicated clay lubricant. I continue to use my foam cannon to lay down a light layer of shampoo, which provides more than enough lubrication on the surface. And it's much faster than using a separate product that you may have to even clean off afterwards. And what's more, a second treatment of shampoo just cleans the surface that much more. After all the side panels and the front and the rear of the vehicle have been clayed, I do one last thorough rinse down. Then it's time to dry. I like to combine my drying stage with my prep spray stage. I'm using an isopropyl alcohol and distilled water mixture, and I mist some on each section before I dry that section. I like to mist it a little heavy because it is mixing with the water that's already on the panel. I always do the glass first, since the glass is more prone to water spotting than the paintwork. I'm also using a double Twistress drying towel from the rag company. Now that the paint, the glass, and every other exterior surface has been cleaned, decontaminated, dried, and prepped, I'm going to finish up with a coat of Carpro Reload. I chose Carpro Reload for this car because it's obviously a high-end vehicle, and Reload is a high-end ceramic sealant. As a tip, when coating the glass, don't spray Reload directly onto the glass, and that goes true with any other ceramic sealant really. Rather, mist 1 or 2 sprays on your towel, then apply it to the glass, then buff it down using the dry side of the towel like normal. Reload will protect the paint for about 6 months, possibly longer since this car is a garage queen. If you know me at all, you know I love Carpro products. No detail is complete without a good tire dressing. My go-to tire dressing for a while now has been another Carpro product, Carpro Pearl. On tires, I like to use it straight, undiluted. And the pump dispenser that you can purchase from Carpro also makes it much faster to apply. Take the time to massage it into the rubber thoroughly, and it will give you about 2 weeks of longevity. Okay, so we're at the very end of a very long and very hot day. The Mercedes Maybach came out beautiful. So now that we're all done, inside and out, let's take a look around and see how she came out. Thanks to Mercedes-Benz, the classic luxury brand Maybach continues to live on. So whether you're an auto detailing enthusiast or you're just an enthusiast of really nice cars, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't hesitate to give us a like right down below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. That way you don't miss any future auto detailing content just like this. So thanks again for watching, everyone. As always, I'm Seth with Turner Mobile Detailing, and we'll see you in the next video.